Okay, so welcome everyone to my session today on button bookmark tricks in Power BI, which you can use just to add a little bit of difference to your reports for the users. And today's session is organized by Dataverse. So thank you guys for giving me a chance to present my session on this amazing platform. So before we start the session, I'll just like to give a little bit introduction about myself, those who don't know me. So my name is Pragati Jain, and I'm a Microsoft Data Platform MVP. I'm also a super user at Microsoft Power BI community. So if any of you guys who are, active at Microsoft Power BI community, you can see me there spending a lot of time on daily basis. Then in all, I've got nearly 10 plus years of industry experience. And currently I'm working as a senior data analyst at Trustpilot here in London. One fun fact about me is like I'm a painter and I just created a own word for myself is like I just try to call myself a techie artist. So that's what myself is. And if any of you guys want to connect with me, then I've got my own blog, which is datavibe.co.uk. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, so you guys can definitely drop me email there, message there. I've also included my Power BI community handle and my Instagram handle. Now, before we start the session, I'll just like to give you like an overview what I'll be covering in today's session. So for today's agenda, the one thing is this is just a one slide PowerPoint deck because everything I'll be showing you will be shown directly in Power BI desktop tool. So it's just a one slide all demo session. So in today's session, we'll be covering different types of functionalities where we can use buttons and bookmarks to add a different to take your basically Power BI reports to different levels. So it just adds an additional richness to your report. So we'll be covering different scenarios like I'll start with showing you how you can toggle between charts using buttons and bookmarks, how you can create page navigation in a Power BI report using buttons. Then we'll see how we can use images and even Gifs on your buttons and bookmarks. Then further down the line, we'll see there's a drill through button in Power BI. So we'll explore how that can be used in real world scenarios. Then if we get some time, then I'd like to show you how we can reset filters using a bookmark on a report page. And I'll also take you through how bookmark slideshow works in Power BI. And in the end, if time permits, then I'll just show you the modern visual tooltips functionality that came a few months back in Power BI. So yeah, without wasting any time, let's just start just start with the session. And the other thing here is while creating these buttons and bookmarks, I'll be adding some tips and tricks what I generally keep in mind while creating these things in Power BI report. And I'll be hopping off between the slides between this slide and Power BI desktop. So I make sure I'm covering all the scenarios that I've listed here in my slide deck. Okay, so let's get started. So this is a basic Power BI desktop file, which I've already opened in advance because I didn't want time to get wasted on that because sometimes Power BI just behaves weirdly, especially while you're delivering some session or speaking. So this is a Power BI desktop tool, and I'm assuming whoever is attending this session, they know what Power BI desktop is. Just to give you a little bit about it, is Power BI desktop is a free visualization tool which you can, freely just download on a Windows machine and then just get started. Though I would not like to call it just a visualization tool because you can do a lot of stuff in Power BI apart from visualization. So what I have got ready is I've got a simple data set here, which I'll be using for showing you all the button bookmark tricks here in Power BI. So I'll just give you some idea about it. So this is a very much anonymized data, everyone. So it's basically a e-store platform data. So it is more around consider a scenario you buy something from Amazon and generally you go and write a review about it, like how was your experience with the product that you ordered from Amazon, whether it was good, it was bad, or whether the delivery was delayed. So it's more around what kind of reviews you are giving to a product while you're purchasing it from an online platform, along with what kind of sentiments you're expressing around it, whether it was good, bad, or neutral, right? So this data is more around that. So you can easily see, I mean, the platform is eStore because it is an online platform. I've got some ratings for different products. So the main thing here in the data is a brand, and a brand can have multiple category and subcategories. So for example, consider a brand called like next store or something here in UK, and then you have got multiple things in next. Like next store, you can find clothing, you can find accessories. So those could be different categories and subcategories. But this data is more around the food product. So that's why you can see there's a division called food, stationery, and other kind of stuff that you find on an online platform. Then I have got some ratings around different products and categories, what people have talked about them, and I have got some sentiment, like whether people are talking positive about it, negative about it, or neutral about it. But this data is just consider it as a base for like what we're trying to create. So don't look into the data a lot because it's a anonymized data I just created to show you a few tips and tricks in Power BI using buttons and bookmarks. So let's start with the first scenario that we want to start with is toggle between charts. Now bookmarks, let me just give you a basic around what bookmark is. Now bookmarks in Power BI can be more considered or related from an example. While you read a book, you read 10 pages and tomorrow you continue from the 11th page. So you add a bookmark to your book, right? So that tomorrow you have that state retained and tomorrow you can pick up from the next chapter or next page, right? So consider bookmarks in the same scenario here, not exactly, but bookmarks retain the state of your report page in different ways. So that's what a bookmark does. So for example, if I have got a scenario where I've got so many charts on a single report page, but there is a task like in a limited space of time, I want to show 2 charts with different level of information or different kind of information, then in that case, we can use bookmarks and buttons. So let's see how we can do that. So I'll just start with creating a basic chart in Power BI. So I'm just taking a clustered column chart. And what I'll represent here is the basic thing. I'll take my date as an x-axis. And I'll just limit it to show month and year level information. And what I'll do, I'll just move like total rows from the data for now. So, OK, so in this, what I'm this total row is a basic measure I created in Power BI, which is just counting the number of rows in my reviews data, because in this reviews data, every single row represents a single review. So I'm just trying to count total number of reviews here. So what I'll do is I'll just take it to the basic level because I want to show my data at a month year level. So I do it that way. And if you want, you can convert it to different chart as well. So let's take a line chart maybe. And just to give it clarity, I'll just change the title so we know what we are trying to represent. Total reviews over time. OK, perfect. So this is one chart where we can see total reviews over time. Now suppose there is a requirement from the client where in the same space they want to see 2 charts and some kind of button here. So one chart shows you data without labels, but the other chart shows you data with labels. So suppose if I copy this chart, so in Power BI, you can easily use Control-C, Control-V if you're using a Windows machine, and you can copy the chart. OK, and on the other chart, what we'll do is we'll just switch on the labels. Now, the requirement here is in the same space, the client wants a button here. If he clicks on a button saying something like show data labels, he should see only chart with the data labels on it. And if he clicks on the other button which says don't show data labels, then he should end up with a chart without data labels. So this is what we'll try to create using buttons and bookmarks. And this is what toggle between charts is known. So let's try to do that. So now in Power BI to create bookmarks, there's something called Bookmarks pane. So under view, you need to use Bookmarks pane. Now, second thing, in Power BI, if you want to adjust the visibility of a visual, then there's something called selection pane in Power BI. Now, what does this do is this helps you in hiding or showing a visual along with the bookmark. So we'll use these 2 things to come up with this scenario or this functionality. Now, just to give you a little bit on that. Now, if you see this eye icon in selection pane, if I click on this, it hides my visual. And if I click that again, it just unhides my visual. So that's the usage of a selection pane in Power BI. So what we'll be doing is we'll be hiding one visual and showing other visual using different bookmarks, because our requirement is we want 2 buttons. One button should show one chart and other button should show another chart. So let me show you how we create bookmarks first and how we link them to buttons in Power BI. And then with the use of this selection pane, we can hide and hide this visual on different bookmarks. OK, so let's start with creating a bookmark first. So the first bookmark, what we'll create is, OK, the first thing in whenever you create a bookmark, try to give it a proper name, because when you create a bookmark, Power BI just gives you default naming like bookmark 1, bookmark 2. So if I keep on adding stuff, it will just add that, right? But we don't want to do it that way. We want to give them a proper naming. So we remember what these bookmarks are actually doing and for what they are created. So let's rename this bookmark. The first thing I'll do is I'll rename this bookmark, and the first rename is maybe labels off, because my one chart is without the label. So I want an action that keeps the state of this chart only and shows only this chart without label. So my one bookmark is labels off. OK, before that, let me just do one more thing. I'll create 2 buttons because I want to link these bookmarks to the buttons. So what I'll do is I'll be using 2 blank buttons. One will be something I'll be naming as labels on. You can give different, formatting to them if you want, the way you like. And the other button, what I want is I'll just copy paste it. I mean, I generally like to copy paste stuff, so I retain the size and they look like uniform on the page. So I just keep them that way. So we have got these things. OK, now let's come back to the bookmarks. Now when I click on this bookmark label off, it should only show me this chart. It should hide this chart and also show me a button labels off, which helps labels on, which helps me to go back to a chart with the label on. So for this, what we'll do, we'll try to use the selection pane. Now let's try starting. Let me just see which chart is which. So if you click on these, it tells you like which visual is what. OK, so for labels off, I want this chart to be hidden. So I want to hide my chart with labels on, and I want to hide my button with labels off, because when I have a chart with labels off, when I have a chart with labels off, I need a button to click on it to go to the chart to take me to labels on. So on this stage, we'll we'll update the bookmark, because this bookmark needs to show me something like this. OK, if there's a confusion, let me just create another bookmark and show you how this is working, and then I can take you through again what this is actually doing. So let me just create another bookmark. I'll rename it as labels on, and on labels on, I just want my labels off chart to be hidden and my labels on button to be hidden. OK, and I'll just update that. OK, now let me show you what this is actually doing. If I click on labels off, it shows me a chart without any labels on it, and it shows me a button. If I click on it, it should take me to the chart with labels on. OK, so if I click on labels on, it shows me a chart with labels on and a button so that I can go back to the chart without labels. So that's what we did here. So that's where we use the selection pen to hide and unhide the visuals. Now, to make this more better, our challenge was to fit 2 charts in a space of single chart. So what we can do is we can, just put these charts on top of each other. Now, one thing on this, if you are trying to create these charts, make sure the size of these charts is exactly same. Because if the size of these charts is not same, it is smaller or bigger. So once you start toggling, or once you start using these buttons and bookmarks, it doesn't look good, right? One chart is bigger, one chart is smaller. So make sure the chart sizes is same, so it looks uniform on your report. And once you're putting them on top of each other, they look perfectly fine. OK, so if I click on this labels on, it shows me chart with labels on and my button so that I can go back to the chart with labels off. If I click on labels off, it takes me to the chart with labels off and a button to go back to the chart with labels on. Now, once we have got a bookmark in place, our next task is to link these bookmarks to the buttons, right? So what I'll do, I'll just show everything so we can, do what we are trying to do. So when you click on a button, under format option, you have got something called action. Now you can link a button to an action. So like what kind of action you want this button to do. So if you just switch that on, and if you see that there are different types of action you can assign to a button. So one is like whether it's a back button, basically taking back to a source page from where you're landing it. But in our case, so there could be different types of actions. I'll be taking you through to a few of them in coming scenarios. But in this case, we want to link this button to a bookmark. So we select a bookmark. Now, in this case, labels on is my labels on bookmark. If you want to add some tooltips, you can add a tooltip like click here to switch on labels. OK, and suppose if you don't want the tooltips, you can just use this button no tooltips. But sometimes it's good to have tooltips so that, you know, if user hovers over that button, they know what to do. OK, now similarly, go to labels off, create an action. And we'll do the same thing. This time we want to create a bookmark action. So we select the bookmark and we select the bookmark with which we want this button to be linked. So we choose the label off and we want the tooltip. So I've just copy pasted the tooltip from the last one. So you can just modify it. Now let's see what's happening here. OK. Now, if you hover over labels on, it tells you click here to switch on labels. Labels off tells you click here to switch off labels. So if I click on labels off, maybe. OK, in Power BI desktop to use a button, you need to use Control plus click. But once you publish your report to Power BI service, you can just use a simple click. So if I click on this, so basically Control click, I can only see chart without labels on. And I've got a button with labels on. And if I click on this, I can see the chart with labels on and a button to go back to the chart with labels off. But did you see something? My buttons are still on different places. So we can do the similar thing what we did with this chart. We kept the chart one over other. We can do the same thing with the button so they are in the same place. So what we'll do is I'll just bring this in middle of the page and just move it on top of each other. Now, if you see, so basically in a single space of a single visual, you have got multiple things there, and you can, you know, just use these buttons to toggle between different charts. You can even put the buttons on the chart, if that makes sense. But I think it's OK if you have it somewhere here. So yeah, so that's what the toggle is. So I think I just misplaced them. So I'll just put them back. So yeah, they go on top of each other. So that's basically a simple toggle chart which you can create. And this could be really helpful when you have too many charts on a single report page, but you still want, you know, some additional information to be shown in a limited space on your report page. Then, you know, you can use this toggle functionality. So that's what we just did. So that's a toggle functionality. OK, one thing here is whenever you create bookmarks, make sure you're saving them on the right state you want them to, because once you update the bookmark, they just retain the state on what you're trying to update them. So make sure to update it on the right state and test them just after you create them. So that, because there could be some challenges when you end up having multiple bookmarks on your report page. And if something goes wrong, then it's really hard to, you know, identify whether things went wrong. So it's always good to, you know, check your bookmarks at every step you create them. OK, so the next thing I want to show you is how you can create a simple page navigation in Power BI. Now, in earlier days, so when I say earlier days, so Power BI keeps on, you know, updating stuff every month, right? So previously, when we had to create page navigations in Power BI, you were required to use bookmarks. But as Power BI keeps on evolving, so now to create a simple page navigation, you don't need bookmarks anywhere. You just need directly buttons, and you can create an action to a button, which can help you in creating page navigation. So let's try to create a simple kind of page navigation. I can actually show you first where we'll be, where in certain scenarios you can use them. Let me just quickly show you a report. So you have an idea why we are creating a page navigation. So page navigation could be helpful in a scenario where you have got a report and you have got like different kind of analysis going on in the report on different pages. But how you want the user to interact with the report is you have got a single home page. you want user to direct from that home page to different case studies that you have done. So for example, this was a report I created long time back. And what I have done here is I've got a home page. And on this home page, I've got 3 different kind of analysis. And what I did was if user clicks on travel product summary, it redirects them to a page which has got all the analysis related to the travel insurance products. And then the user can go back to the home page, and then they can navigate to a different case study where they have got like age-wise summary of the age-wise summary analysis. They go back to the home page, and then they can go to the other study. So this is the kind of page navigation I'll show you we can create in Power BI. So what we'll do is the first thing is we just need a simple home page. So I'll be showing you very quickly the simple scenarios, not very typical one. So just to know, like, this is home page, we'll just give them a proper title first. And what I'll do is I'll just make this little bigger so we know it's a homepage title, and just make it little bigger. I think that works fine. OK, now in this data, we have got some information at brand level. We have got the rating information. We have got the sentiment information. So let's create 2 scenarios here. One scenario. So one scenario will be on one page. I just want user to see the sentiment information regarding the brands. And on one page, I just want users to see the rating information regarding different brands. So I'll create 2 page navigations here quickly. So for that, what we'll do is we'll create 2 buttons, because I want users to use buttons to navigate to different pages. OK, so I'm using blank button, but guys, you can use anything. You can give them colors, because there are multiple formatting options that you can use with buttons. Give them background color and how you want them to be shown. So this could be first as brand rating. And what I'll do is I'll just make this button a little bigger. And yeah, and what I'll do, I'll just copy paste this. And the next scenario, what I want to create for user is brand sentiments. OK, now from this home page, I want user to go to these different pages with these details. Now, for users to go to these pages, we need these pages, right? So first thing what we'll do is we'll create these 2 pages. So what I'll do is I'll just create simple tables here, because I'm not trying to create a report in this session. I'm more kind of showing you how you can do this stuff. So the first thing is brand rating. So what I'll do is I'll just create a simple date, and maybe we can have it at date. As a date, we can move brands, and we want some kind of average rating or something for different brand, right? So we can do it that way. Yeah, we don't summarize it, or you can summarize it if you want to see average rating. And yeah, we can even create some rating bins here. So that's just a basic information I'm trying to show, but yeah, you can drag and drop the information that you want in your reports, because that can just help you in creating those level of details. So it's just a simple table visual what I'm creating right now. OK, so we have got one page which shows brand rating. And the other page, what we want is brand sentiments. So we create another page, and it shows us brand sentiments. So what I'll do is I'll just copy paste the table, because I'm more interested in showing you functionality rather than reporting. And I'll just change different, I'll just move some columns. So like, for example, sentiment. OK, so you can create any kind of visuals. It's just a table visual. So now from the home page, we have got 2 landing pages, one for brand rating and one from brand sentiments. Now, the next task is how you can link these buttons so that they can land to these pages, right? So click on your button. Under format, there's an action which we just looked at. So if you click on that, there's a type called page navigation. OK, once you select that, Power BI asks you what is the destination page you want to give for this button. So in our case, it is brand rating. So we choose that. If you want tooltips, you can write something here. If you don't want, let's not give tooltips now. But yeah, tooltips are really important part when you're creating buttons. OK, because not every user understands the terminology on the button. So it's always good to have those tooltips so they can see some details what this is for, right? So now if I click on this button, it should take me to brand rating page. So let's use Control click as we use in Power BI. and it takes you to brand rating page. Now, how do I go back to home page? Right? Because from here, you want to go back to home page. So for that, again, there's the simple thing. Go to insert. Power BI has something called back button. OK, you don't need to give any action to it. OK, just create that button. Now, if I click on this, it will by default take me to home page. The reason is back button always works on a simple principle. When you go from one page to other page, it just somehow retains the state of your source page. So whenever you click on back, it will always take you to the last page from which you navigated to basically this page. So that's what a simple page navigation we have done. And we can do the similar thing for the brand sentiment as well. So we click on the button, we go to the action. It's a kind of page navigation type of action. We click on that. Under destination, we select brand sentiments. You can give tooltips if you want. If you don't want, just use this. And if you click on this, you go to brand sentiments. But again, we want something to go back to the home page. So we go on the buttons and insert a back button. And if you click on the back button, it takes me to home page. So that's basically a simple page navigation we just tried creating. So from home page, go to brand rating, see the data, what all numbers you can see here. And yeah, you can create so many visuals here. It's not just one visual thing. Go back to the home page. I want to see brand sentiment related information. I go to that page. I see the information, analyze it, and go back to the home page. So that's the simple page navigation done. So I'll just be showing you two more things, and then I'll take a few questions if there are. So the next thing is how we can use images as buttons and bookmarks. OK, so let's use some images as buttons and bookmarks. So OK, so let's create a simple chart first. So I'll just create a simple maybe area chart. And what I'll do is I'll try to show some information which is at a different sentiment level. So for example, if I want to see total number of reviews for positive sentiment, negative sentiment, and neutral sentiment. So what I do is over time. So what I'll do is I'll move my x-axis here as date. Oh, sorry. Yeah, and I'll just keep it at month year level. And I want total number of reviews, and I want a legend as sentiment. OK, so you can see like total number of reviews for different kind of sentiments. Now, what my task here is I want to create something like I should have images at the top for different sentiments, maybe a green smiley for positive, red smiley for negative, and a neutral smiley for with color yellow. OK, and when I click on those images, the chart should only show me information regarding those sentiments. So first thing what we'll do is obviously we need 3 charts because we want to use 3 images showing different kind of information. So for that, in one chart, I just want to show positive information, sentiment information. So what I'll do, I'll just remove this legend from here for now, and I'll put sentiment as a visual level filter. And if I do that, it will just show me information for positive. And just to make things clear, what we'll do is we'll just give them proper coloring. So we know it is positive. So positive is green, right? So we just go and pick the proper color. It just gives us a little bit idea what we're trying to show here. So yeah, that is green. OK, and yeah, you can change the transparency if you don't want it that way. Yeah, so this is positive. And to make sure things clear, what I'll do is it is total reviews over time, and this is just for positive sentiment, right? So that's positive. Now what we'll do is we'll create 3 more charts, one for negative and neutral, and then we'll look into how we can, use the images to toggle between the charts basically. So it's the similar kind of scenario that we saw here for toggling the charts, but here we just saw the simple buttons, right? But now we'll try to do them using images. So what I'll do is I'll just create 2 more charts. So for that, as I want to retain the size of my charts to be same, so I just copy paste them. And what I do is the above one was positive, so I'll create the one for neutral. So I change my visual level filter, and to make the things more clear, I change my title and give it neutral in the end. So we know this is a neutral one. to make things more clear, we'll change the data color as well. So that's neutral, right? And similarly, I'll create one more chart. I'll just copy and paste. So the third one will be for negative sentiment. I'll just move them a little up so we have those three charts seen. Yeah. Okay, and this is for negative. So we'll go to the visual level filter for sentiment and just select negative. Okay, and just change the color. So we'll go and choose red, because obviously red is negative, so something like that. And we can change the title to make things more clear. This is negative. Perfect. So we have got the visuals. So we have got three visuals. Now our task is we need three images. If we click on them, they should only show the relevant charts. So for that, what I'll do is I'll just go to insert and bring some images. So for that, I'll do is I have already got some images here. So I've got like positive for positive sentiment, neutral for neutral sentiment, and negative for negative sentiment. So what I'll do is I'll click on those. I'll bring in them. Similarly, I'll bring the other two images as well, and then we can give them a similar size. So neutral, and then we bring the negative. Perfect. So we've got the three images, and if you want to resize them, you can just resize them. Yeah, I think this works for me. And just to make sure your sizes are same, what you can do is click on the image, go to format, go to general, see the size, and give the same to the other two. So we can just give them similar size, so your images look uniform. Because you know, these are small things, but they really make a difference on your code. So yeah, make sure you're using the same sizing. Okay, so perfect. We have got these three images. Now the next task is, obviously, we want to click on these images to show and hide some charts, right? So again, it's the same thing. We go and create some bookmarks. And then we link those bookmarks with the image in the same way we linked bookmarks with the buttons. OK, so again, we need bookmarks and selection pane. Simple. So let's create a bookmark first. Let's create the first for positive. So I'll just, oh, sorry. My bad. I'll just create one for positive, and on the positive bookmark, what I want to hide my neutral and negative charts. OK, in this scenario, I want all my images to be shown, so I'm not hiding them. I'll keep all the images there, but I'll just hide and unhide charts. So this is the scenario I want this bookmark to work on. So I'll just go and update it. Now, if I unhide these things and if I want to test the bookmark, I can click on positive. If I click on positive, it shows me positive charts. So, OK, bingo, my bookmark works fine. So similarly, we'll create one for neutral and one for negative. So I click on add. I rename it because it is for neutral sentiment. And for neutral sentiment, I want to hide positive and I want to hide negative and just show the neutral. And what I'll do is I want this bookmark to show this. So I just update it because this is the state. Sorry, because this is the state I want it to show. So I click on it and then update it. Perfect. Let's test it. So as I said, create a bookmark and test it at every step because it just helps you in avoiding any errors. We click on positive, it shows positive chart. We click on neutral, it shows neutral chart. Perfect. Last task is let's create the other one for negative. Click on it. We rename it as negative, and for negative, I want to hide neutral and positive and just show negative. So I'll just go and update my bookmark, right? So let's test them. Positive shows positive, neutral shows neutral, negative shows negative. Perfect, but we want images, so images are there. So let's just put these charts on top of each other. So we have, you know, everything. So yeah, I'm again, you know, using that toggle kind of stuff here because I want to, again, just take space of a single chart, but show multiple things there. So what I'll do is I'll just put these charts on top of each other. OK, so I'm just creating a layout. And what we can do is we can just move these images somewhere here. Right. So we can put them so you can align them the way you want. I'm just doing a basic alignment here. Now, we have got our bookmarks in place, right? So now our next task is to link these images with those bookmarks so we can use these images, right? So click on the image, and the image, when you click on an image under format, image also gives you something like action that we saw under buttons. And obviously this is a bookmark kind of action. So it's same thing what you see in buttons. Click the bookmark, and for positive, I want to link it to positive bookmark. You can give the tooltips if you want. If you don't want, just don't give it. Go to the neutral one, click on the action. Again, select it as a type of bookmark action and select the bookmark. In this case, it is neutral, and done. Same we'll do for the last image. So go to your red smiley, click on the action, go to your bookmark and select your bookmark. Done. So let's just test them, right? Okay, so if I click on this image, so similar control click. If I click on this, it should show me my chart with positive sentiment. So number of reviews over time with positive sentiment. If I click on neutral, it shows me number of reviews over time with neutral sentiment. And if I click on a red smiley, it shows me number of reviews over time with negative sentiment. Okay, so that's what we have, quickly seen how we can use images as an interactive way to, toggle between different charts. So before now I go to the next step, I'll see if there are any questions, guys. Kendra, are there any questions at this stage, or we are good to go?
We are good to go. This is really cool. But I think folks have just been following along and don't have questions yet.
Okay, cool. So next thing, what I want to show you here is how we can use GIFs. Okay, now GIF can be used in some kind of way if you want to fill your buttons with some background GIFs that change and you want just to give an animated kind of view, right? So what we'll do is I'll just create a new page, and I just don't like these dots around the borders of the page because you guys must be seeing me changing the transparency to 0. So I generally like it that way, so I just do it. So let's create a simple chart again. So what I'll do is I'll create. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'll quickly show you what I'm trying to build here is something like this. So basically I've got these GIFs as buttons. And if I just click on them, I mean, it doesn't add too much, but suppose if you want to bring some kind of animations on your buttons. So for example, this GIF shows you some food items and this GIF shows you stationery items, right? So if you want something some numbers to see at food level, you just click on them and then the chart just shows you some numbers for food division. And if you click on stationery, it shows you some numbers for stationery. So this is what we'll try to just quickly see how we can do that. So for that, we'll create simple chart, and that chart is, oh, sorry, I already had a chart. So here what I'll do, I'll just show you a number of reviews we have seen for different kind of divisions. So in the data, we had some divisions, right? So the reviews related to food kind of items or stationery kind of items, right? So we'll try to do that. So I'll just simply move the date. Okay, and then I'll just try to show total reviews I have seen, and I want to limit this chart to show me stuff only for food division. So I go to my visual level filter, add division, and just show stuff for food. Okay, and if I click on this, I'll just go and change my title as well. So, we have more visibility what we are seeing. So it is basically total reviews. Total reviews over time for food division, right? So this is for food. And similarly, what I'll do, same thing, we create another chart, which was information for reviews at stationery level. So what I can do is I can just change my visual level filter to show me data for stationery items. Okay, and just give them a little border. Okay, so we have got two charts. One showing us data for food division, one showing us data for stationery. Oh, this was for stationery, so let's change the title. Sorry, I forgot to change that. So I'll go there and just change my title. You can even give different colors to your, representation if you want. So you just know what is what. I'll just check the size once because I changed them if I remember. So this is 850, 295, 850, 276. So I just changed the size quickly. Now in the previous scenario, we saw how we can use images, right? Now, if I want to use GIFs, so how I can use that in buttons is, so in buttons, so let's create a button first. I go and create a button. I'll use a blank button because I want to add something to this button, right? I want to show a GIF. Now, you can't bring in a direct, you can bring in an image as we saw, but to buttons, what you can do is under format button, there's something called fill. When you click on that fill, there's an option like what you want to fill with. OK, so in this case, I want to fill this button with an image. So what I'll do is I want one image, one GIF. I'll just select that GIF because it accepts GIF images as well. Click on that and it brings this here. And what I'll also do is I'll just make it fit. So if I change the size, it just adjusts by itself. I'll remove the outline. So you can see a GIF in a button, which is filled as a background, I would say. OK, and similarly, I'll do another one. I'll create the button, bring it here, and I'll check the size later. So I'll go to the fill and I'll again click on add image, bring in my stationery GIF. I'll click on it. It comes here and I'll just change it to fit. And just to make sure my sizes are same. So I go to there and just check my sizes. So 214 and this is OK. So we've got the GIFs, right? Now the next task is, it's the same thing. You need to create bookmarks, right? So what we'll quickly do is, got time. OK, so let's create two bookmarks. One that only shows us food information and the other which just shows us stationery. So simple thing, guys, we just create a bookmark. We just rename it as food. And on the food, obviously, we need to use selection pane because when I click on food, it should only show me food chart, but hide the stationery. I'm keeping both the GIFs though. So what I want is I just hide the stationery and update my food. So if I unhide it and if I click on it, it shows me only the chart with food items for food items. Similarly, I'll create another bookmark. I'll rename it as stationery. OK, and for the stationery, I want to hide the food chart and just want to show the stationery one. So I'll just update it. And we can test it. On food, it shows food. On stationery, it shows stationery. Perfect. Now the next task is how we can link these GIFs. So same, these GIFs are just used as a background fill for the button. So click on them. Under action, as we saw previously, just use your bookmark and use the bookmark. So in this case, it is food. Same, go to stationery, click action, use action as a bookmark, and we just use the stationery. So that's what. So now let's just try using it. If you click on stationery, click on food, it just shows you food. If you click on stationery, it just shows you stationery, right? So let's just align them quickly the way we did it before. So we just put these charts on top of each other, and I'm showing both the GIFs, so that's why they are still here. So yeah, something like this. OK, so now perfect. Click on food, it shows food related data. Click on stationery. So it's basically the same thing, just that you have used GIFs in the background for a button. And it's not a necessary thing you need to use on your report, but suppose if you want to add some kind of animation, you can use that kind of stuff. So this is what GIF scenario is what we have covered. Now, the next thing what I want to show you is a drill through button in Power BI. OK, so let's create something. OK, so in Power BI, there's something called drill through button. It was in preview long time back, but now it is available. So what a drill through button can do is there could be a scenario like you have got a summary page, but from that page, you want to see a detailed information of a certain data point. So by detailed information of certain data point, I mean, let's create quickly. I've got a table which has got like list of all the brands I have got in my data. So let me put the brand. OK, and I have got total number of reviews I see against those brands. OK. Now the scenario what I want to plot here is like if I click on one of the brands, there should be something. So if I click on a button like, if I click on one of the data point in my brand column, a button should get enabled here. And if I click on that, it should redirect me to a new page, which has got details for that brand. OK, so that's the kind of stuff we'll try to create now using a drill through button. So yeah, so this is a simple scenario. We create this brand summary, and in Power BI, just go to insert, create a blank button, and we can just give it a name or text. So like what it is doing. So something like I go to format, go to button text, and I write maybe click here to view brand details. OK. So this is something what I'm trying to do here, and I'll just make this a little bigger. OK, so this is the button. OK, now, once you create a button, you have to define what kind of button is that. Now, if you remember, under actions, we had something like back, bookmark, drill through. So if you make a button drill through, if I select this drill through now, my button just gets disabled. OK, it will only get enabled when I select a data point here. Now, when I click on it, nothing happens because the thing here is I haven't got a drill through page at a brand level. Once I have that, then this button will get activated. Now for that, what we'll do is we'll create a drill through page. I'll just duplicate this and make some changes. So what I'll do is I'll just remove this. Now this drill through page will have details on a brand. Now in Power BI, if you want to make a drill through page, there's something here called drill through fields here. Now in my case, I want my drill through field to be brand. Why my drill through field is brand? Because I want to see a brand level details on a new page. So that's why brand is my drill through field. And also I just want to see it at brand level. I don't want to bring any more things there as filters. So I create that, and here I can add details like, for example, category, subcategory, I can get average rating, I can get sentiment. So, you can have all different kinds of details here. You can even move date here if you want it for things to see over time. So that's, how you can use that. So this is basically a detailed page we have created for brand. And what we want is once I click on a brand, this button should get enabled. Now see why it is not getting enabled is this thing. When you click on a button and when you made it a drill through button, we haven't given any destination. OK, let me just rename it so we know what it is. Brand details. OK, and this is something like brand summary. OK, so for this we don't need bookmarks. OK, you can just use buttons to get this done. Click on the button. You made the button as a drill through button, right? But after making a drill through button, you need to give it a destination, right? What is your destination? So use it at brand, use brand details because that's the drill through page we have created for brands. You can create tooltips if you want. OK, so now if I click on my brand one, this button gets enabled because I have assigned this button a drill through page. Now, if I click on this, it will take me to brand details and shows me only brand level data. Now, just to check it quickly, what you can do is you can just create a simple card on your drill through page. So at least it tells you what brand you're looking information for. So just move brand column to it. So we know like we are seeing brand one information here. OK, and yeah, one more thing. Whenever you make a page as drill through page, it by default create a back button for you. So if you click on it, it takes you to the home page or the summary page from which you landed to this drill through detailed page. So it's simple. Click a data point and then your drill through button gets enabled. Click on that and it will take you to the details on that brand. And you can just use this back navigation button to go back to the summary page. So that's a simple thing how you can create a drill through page. OK, first, what I want to show you as we have created few bookmarks, I'll show you there's something called bookmark slideshow in Power BI. So when you open the bookmark page, bookmark pane, sorry, there's something called view. If you click on that, it kind of shows you slider or a navigator at the bottom of the page. And if you just click on that, it just shows you what all bookmarks in what order you created. So currently it's showing me my first bookmark. If I just go to the next one, it shows me what my next bookmark is doing, and it is showing me everything in this order. OK, so if I go to labels off, if I go to right, it comes to labels on. If I again go to next step, it comes to my positive bookmark. It comes to my neutral bookmark. Again, it comes to my negative. So it's showing me everything, like what all bookmarks in what order I have created, right? So that's what a slideshow you can, use if you want to. But yeah, this slideshow can, I mean, it can be helpful in some ways, like in Power BI service, when you just, publish your report and you just want to show in a single view to your users, like what all bookmarks are doing on your whole report, then you can, just use this slideshow button to show what bookmarks are doing and what kind of interactions they're doing on your report. But it's something, it's kind of a new thing. So I just wanted to show it to you, how you can use it. Now, the other simple thing what I want to cover quickly is reset filters on a report page. OK, so for that, what we'll do is I'll just create a new page. And suppose you have got multiple filters on your report page. So for that, what we'll do is I'll just copy paste some visuals, what we have already created. So I've got a table that shows me brand level details, and maybe we can get some kind of chart. Yeah, so let's copy this chart, and it shows like reviews over time. And suppose on this page now you have got multiple filters, slicers basically. So let's quickly create some slicers. So one slicer what I would like to create is for the date. I mean, that's the most important slicer on every report, I would say. I mean, date, I mean, you can clearly slice and dice your data, right? So this is my date filter. And what I'll do is I'll just create one more slicer to show that reset filter functionality. So I'll just create another slicer, which is my maybe sentiment, positive, negative, neutral. OK, so that's what the two slicers we have got here. I'll just move them to little at the bottom. OK, perfect. So we got the two slicers. We can just clear them, move them a little down. OK, so that's the two slicers we have got. Now suppose now in Power BI service, when you publish your report, at the top ribbon, there's always a functionality. So for example, when user starts interacting with the report, they start applying different filters or slicers to see the data at different granularity and different levels, right? But in Power BI service, there's already a functionality at the top. There's something called reset filters. So if the user click the reset filters, all the selected filters or slicers used by the user get cleared up. But suppose if you want to create that kind of functionality in Power BI desktop, it's kind of really simple. So what you can do is like just create a simple bookmark, I would say. So for that, I'll just create a reset button first, something like this, and I'll just move it somewhere here. And what you can do is just create a bookmark, rename it as reset. OK, reset filters. OK, and what this reset filter needs to do is whenever I click on it, it should show me nothing selected in my filters. So what I'll do is I'll just update it. OK, now, and what I'll do is I'll link this to my button. So, this works. So I'll go to bookmark and select my reset filter. Now, let's try to test it. Now, suppose if I select neutral, and I select some different date range. OK, now suppose if I want to reset it, right? So I click on this button. It just takes and resets my filter to the original state. So that's just a simple way of doing it. But yeah, obviously, if you're sharing your reports with the users in Power BI service, then this thing is not required because this is by default given in Power BI service. So not a very important scenario, but yeah, good to know, like you can create some kind of, reset bookmarks in Power BI. And I think, yeah, I am out of time now. So yeah, guys, I mean, I mean, in the end, I mean, I don't have time to show you modern visual tooltips, which has given a lot of stuff in Power, added a lot of stuff in Power BI. But one thing I would like to show is when you're tell is when you're trying to deal with buttons and bookmarks, be very careful, because there are few limitations of buttons and bookmarks. First thing is, once you have created a button or bookmark in Power BI, okay, and if you really want to add some new visual to it, then you really need to reset your bookmarks, because the thing is, bookmark always retains the state whatever was there on your report page. And if you add anything new after the bookmark is added to that report page, you'll need to re-update your bookmark to work with that new visualization or new slice or whatever you want to add. Otherwise, your bookmarks won't work with that. The second limitation, what I see using buttons and bookmarks is, I mean, they work mostly with most of the custom visuals, but as we know, Power BI keeps on improving every month, and new custom visual keeps getting added. So they can just not work with the new custom visuals. So if a bookmark just stopped working with a custom visual, then you really need to contact the person who created that custom visual. So that could be the other challenge with the bookmarks. So yeah, I mean, I generally avoid using custom visual in my report, so I haven't got that challenge so far, but that's kind of a limitation that bookmark can give you. And the third thing is, if you end up having multiple bookmarks on your report, then sometimes it can get challenging to identify if something goes wrong with one of those bookmarks. So make sure you always create bookmarks in the end when every visual is present on your report page. Don't create bookmark and then add visual, because it just adds complexity to your reports. So yeah, I think, guys, that's something what I would like to tell you. And yeah, always update your bookmark on the right state you want, and keep testing them at every step you create a bookmark. Not like you create 5 bookmarks and then test them one by one. Create a bookmark, test it. Create the second bookmark, test it, because it just gives you more confidence that you're doing the thing in the right order and what you want is being done. So yeah, that's something. Yeah, I think, guys, that's it from my side. And yeah, thank you for attending my session. And yeah, happy to answer if there are any questions.